66 million years ago, a colossal asteroid approached Earth. It was a planet killer. Its trajectory was precise. A direct hit seemed certain. This event would change life forever, or so it was thought. But fate, or perhaps the subtle gravitational dance of the solar system, intervened. The asteroid veered. It was a near miss. A cosmic breath held, then released. Earth spun on, unaware of the catastrophe averted. The sky remained blue. The world continued, largely unchanged for that single momentous day. The dinosaurs, magnificent and terrible, knew nothing of their close call. Tyrannosaurus rex still hunted. Triceratops still grazed in herds. Pterosaurs still soared through the ancient skies. The impact winter never came. The fires did not ignite. The tsunamis never crashed ashore. For these giant creatures, it was just another day in the long Cretaceous period. Their reign was not to end abruptly. Instead, it was set to continue. Their evolutionary journey would take a different path, a path not dictated by sudden global catastrophe. Without the Chicxulub impactor, the KPG extinction event never happened. The dinosaurs did not vanish. They thrived. They adapted. Over the next tens of millions of years, they continued to evolve. New species arose. Some grew larger, others became smaller, faster, more agile. Their forms diversified, filling ecological niches that in our timeline were left vacant for mammals to inherit. The world remained a dinosaur's world, a vibrant and dangerous place filled with reptilian life in all its varied forms. This continued evolution was not just physical. Some dinosaur lines began to show signs of increased intelligence. The dromaeosaurs, the raptors, were already smart pack hunters. With more time, their brains grew more complex. They developed better problem-solving skills. Their communication became more sophisticated. Perhaps they were not building cities, but they were thinking. They were learning, adapting mentally as well as physically. This slow burn of developing intellect would have profound implications for any other species trying to find its place. The ecosystems of this alternate Earth were fundamentally different. Large herbivorous dinosaurs dominated the landscapes. Herds of hadrosaurs, ceratopsians, and new, even larger sauropods roamed vast plains and forests. They were the great shapers of the environment. Their immense appetites dictated the types of plants that could thrive. Forests might have been more open, regularly pruned by these giant grazers. Grasslands, which appeared later in our timeline, might have spread earlier or differently, catering to these mega herbivores. Plant life itself would have co-evolved under constant pressure. Many plants would develop strong defenses. Thorns, toxins, or rapid regrowth became essential for survival. Perhaps some plants even formed symbiotic relationships with smaller dinosaurs. These smaller creatures could protect them from the larger grazers. The air would hum with the calls of pterosaurs, some evolving into new forms to hunt insects or fish. The oceans, too, would still be home to giant marine reptiles, the mosasaurs and plesiosaurs ruling the depths. The world was a high-stakes biological arms race. Predator-prey dynamics were intense. The large carnivores, descendants of Tyrannosaurus and Allosaurus, evolved alongside their prey. They became even more efficient hunters. Speed, power, and cunning were paramount. Some might have developed new hunting strategies. Pack hunting could have become more common even among the largest predators. The pressure to survive was immense for every creature. There was no room for complacency in a world ruled by such formidable hunters. Nature's red tooth and claw were sharper here. In this saurian-dominated world, mammals faced an uphill battle. They were small, they were secretive, they mostly lived in the shadows, hiding from the giants. Nocturnal life was their best chance. While dinosaurs ruled the day, mammals scurried through the undergrowth at night. Their evolution was suppressed but not halted. They became resourceful. They became adaptable. Their brains, though small, were wired for survival in a world where they were not the dominant class. Their future was uncertain, always under the colossal feet of the ruling reptiles. The emergence of early humans in such a world would be a true test of resilience. Imagine our fragile ancestors. They were not apex predators, they were prey. Every venture for food or water was fraught with danger. Giant carnivores were a constant threat. Even large herbivores could be deadly if startled or threatened. Survival would depend on extreme caution. It would depend on keen senses, and it would depend on group cooperation, more so than in our own timeline. Human intelligence would be our primary weapon. It would also be our shield. The need to outsmart dinosaurs would drive cognitive development. Tool-making would be crucial, not just for hunting small game, but for defense. Fire would be more than warmth, it would be a deterrent. Early settlements would need to be highly defensible, perhaps built in caves, on high cliffs, or even in dense, thorny forests where larger dinosaurs could not easily penetrate. Social structures would be tight-knit, emphasizing collective security and knowledge sharing about dinosaur behavior. Building a civilization would be a monumental challenge. Expansion would be slow and dangerous. Clearing land for agriculture meant inviting conflict with territorial herbivores or attracting predators. Large-scale construction projects would be nearly impossible in areas frequented by multi-ton dinosaurs. Perhaps early human societies would be more nomadic, or they might cluster in naturally fortified regions. Technology would develop along different lines, focusing on defense, detection, and perhaps even ways to pacify or redirect dinosaurs. Early interactions between humans and dinosaurs would shape our mythology, our fears, and our respect for nature. Dinosaurs would be the ultimate symbols of power and danger. Some might be deified, others would be seen as monsters to be overcome. The stories told around flickering fires would be filled with tales of cunning escapes and tragic encounters. This constant, looming presence of giant reptiles would embed itself deep within the human psyche, forging a very different kind of human spirit, one tempered by persistent existential threat. Fast forward to a modern era in this alternate timeline. Daily life would be an extraordinary mix of advanced technology and primal danger. Imagine cities with reinforced perimeters. Specialized dinosaur management agencies would be essential public services. Transportation systems would need to be robust. Elevated railways or underground tunnels might be common. Flying vehicles might be preferred for long distances, avoiding terrestrial encounters. Some dinosaurs, perhaps smaller herbivores or certain avian species, might even be domesticated. Imagine a Compsognathus as a pest controller or a trained pterosaur for rapid deliveries. Technology would be heavily geared towards managing dinosaur interactions. Sophisticated sensor networks would monitor dinosaur movements around populated areas. Non-lethal deterrents like sonic fences or pheromonal repellents would be commonplace. For dangerous incursions, specialized teams with advanced capture gear would be deployed. Dinosaur parks would exist, but they would be far more than entertainment. They would be vital research centers and carefully managed wild zones, essential for ecological balance and studying these magnificent creatures. The ethical debates would be intense, the challenges of conservation would be immense. Protecting endangered dinosaur species while also ensuring human safety would be a delicate balancing act. Some dinosaur species might be revered symbols of natural power. Others might be seen as persistent threats. The human relationship with the natural world would be far more immediate and visceral. We would not see ourselves as separate from nature, but as a species constantly negotiating its place within a powerful, untamed ecosystem. The hubris of conquering nature would be a much harder notion to entertain. Reflecting on this alternate reality, one sees surprising parallels to our own. We too face existential threats, albeit often of our own making, like climate change or pandemics. We too struggle with managing wildlife and preserving biodiversity. The power of nature, its capacity for unexpected events, and its relentless evolutionary drive is a constant in any timeline. Perhaps the dinosaurs never went extinct in that world, but the fundamental challenges of survival, adaptation, and finding a sustainable way to coexist with the planet's other inhabitants remain remarkably similar. Nature always finds a way.